So Namaskaram all, let's continue our discussion on exemption. The next phase of exemption that we are going to start today is education related services. Highly important and highly expected in examination. So mark it very IMP. This is what you are expected to remember permanently almost, because there are a lot of confusions in this entry. Initially, this entry was very simple. Any education services provided by education institutions approved in India, or the courses which are recognized by law in India should be exempted. But right now, it has many aspects, and those aspects you need to keep in mind very clearly. So I'm going to teach you this particular part from Bare Act first, and once the Bare Act is done, then we will discuss from analysis and then from our short notes. Okay, so there are various phases, there are various parts to this particular entry. First of all, this is very famous entry, entry number 66. You are expected to remember even the number of this entry in exemption notification. So please remember entry number 66 of exemption notification 12/2017 CTR dated 28 June 2017. We are discussing one of the most important exemption from the whole list of exemptions. Okay, services provided by. So clause number A and clause number double A talks about services by. That means these are the services provided by an educational institution. Now educational institution can provide services to its students, its faculty and its staff. I believe if you see any college or any institution, you will find only these three types of people, isn't it? There can be a student, there can be faculty, and there can be maximum staff. So any educational, any services provided by educational institution, any service, it can be anything. It need not to be only teaching and only provide provision of certain courses. No, it can be provision of canteen facility, it can be provision of hostel facility, it can be provision of library facility, it can be housekeeping services, it can be laundry services, it can be anything, any services, transportation of student, transportation of faculty, transportation of staff. It can be any service, because they are not mentioning what type of service should be provided by education institution to student, faculty, staff. They are just saying services. It can be any service, it can be any service provided by an educational institution to its staff, faculty and students. Okay. The second point is clause number double A. Services provided by an educational institution. Services provided by an educational institution by way of conduct of entrance examination against consideration in form of entrance fee. Why is it required? You get education in education institution after admission or before admission? Come on, please tell me. You get education in any institution after admission or before admission?
After admission.
Hello? You have to type, because I have attached mic, I can't hear you. So you have to type. You get educational services after admission. Very good. And what do you mean by entrance examination? Entrance examination means we are checking whether you are qualified to be admitted in this particular college or university or this particular institution or not. So obviously that by the time you are passing the entrance examination, till that time you are not a student of that particular institution. Therefore, you are not covered under entry number A. Okay, you are not student. You need not to be a student to give an entrance examination. And therefore, what we are trying to say here, entrance examination is kind of very important aspect for providing the future education. So that entrance fee or entrance examination fee should also be exempted. And therefore, entry number double A is exempting entrance fee paid by random student, not student of that particular institution. You did not become student of that institution till now. You are just giving an entrance examination, and even though you are not a student of that institution, still entrance fee or entrance examination fee paid by the student shall remain exempt. I hope I made my point clear. Do you understand first 2 points? Please acknowledge. Yes or no? Have you understood first 2 points? First point, any service provided by institution to student, faculty, staff, exempt. Second, entrance fee should be exempt, because you are not a student till now. Okay, you will become student if you qualify the entrance examination. Anybody who pays entrance fee or entrance examination fee shall enjoy the exemption. Am I clear with first 2 points? Please yes, say yes or no. Otherwise, I'll explain it one more time. Buy is very easy. There is a problem in two. Complication is covered by point number B. Okay. Now, entry number 66, clause B. Entry number 66, clause B is more important. Why? Because it is talking about services provided to an education institution. Here, the services are not provided by education institution. It is received by education institution from private player. Please understand, private people are giving these services to education institution, and this too is also exempt. Why is it so, sir? Why is it so? Why government have done this? So please understand the logic of ITC chapter. If this is your college and whatever services provided by your college are exempted, their output services are exempted. If this is your college or university, any services provided by this college or university, their output is exempt. That means on output, they are never going to pay GST. Okay. On inputs, whatever input service they are going to take or input they are going to consume, if they have paid a GST here, they cannot avail ITC. They cannot avail ITC. Input tax credit is not available. Why input tax credit is not available? Because if your output is exempted, you don't get input tax credit. This is what we have understand in chapter number 1. Again, we are going to discuss the same aspect in chapter 6 of ITC chapter. But right now, you need to understand this very simple philosophy that I'm going to teach you. I'm trying to tell you, if you are providing taxable services, then only you can get input tax credit. Please understand. If you are providing taxable services, then only you will get input tax credit. If you are not providing taxable services, then you will not get input tax credit. If your output is taxable, then only you will get credit of input. If your output is exempt, you don't get credit of input. And then if you don't get credit of input, your overall cost of education will go up. Overall cost of education will go up because you are not going to take input tax credit from your inputs. Now, do you want in our country cost of education should go up than it is existing? Already it is high. Do you want it should grow more? Do you want fees to go up? Your college fees, your institution fees to go up? Would you like this? Come on, tell me. Do you wish this your cost of education should go up? Please tell me yes or no. What is your take on this? Cost of education should go up or should remain at same level or should come down? Okay. You don't like to pay higher fee. Okay, that's very good. So how to manage this? If cost of education is going up due to government policies, then it will cause a damage to the whole this statutory law, GST law, and they don't want this. So what they have done, majority, understand my word, majority or specifically for services which are usually taken as the input service by education institution from private people, they have exempted this. So by exempting, what is happening? Private players are enjoying the exemption. Private service providers are enjoying the exemption. But please understand that is helping government to keep cost of education untaxed or cost of education as low as possible, because GST should not become part of the cost. Usually there are exceptions. So please look at this particular area. Education services provided to education institution by way of. Whenever you read a language of by way of, I have to tell you this, it restrict the scope. That means this is the exhaustive list. Whatever is exempted here, exhaustive list of exemption. That means only these 4 items or 5 items are exempt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only these 5 items are exempted. Any other services or any other supply made by private player to education institution will remain taxable. Only these 5 will enjoy this particular exemption in point number B, clause B, entry number 66. So please remember this. Whenever we use language of by way of, it restricts the scope, it put up that exhaustive list. So you have to by heart that exhaustive list. So let's try to understand. You might have seen many institutions are having yellow color bus. Have you seen these buses? School buses, college buses, or university buses. Yellow color, usually school bus. Have you seen? They provide door-to-door facility to students. Hello? Have you seen these buses with college name, institution name, IIT's name? Okay. Usually transportation of passenger is a separate entry that we will discuss later on. But this is not transportation of passenger. That bus doesn't allow any random person to enter into the bus. That bus is only created, or the bus will transport only either faculties or staff or students. So student, faculty, staff. So transportation of student, faculty and staff. Now this bus can be owned by education institution, or this bus can be owned by private person who has given this bus on a hire to an educational institution. Anybody who is providing these services to education institution shall remain exempt. So please understand, if I have 10 buses with me, I have 10 buses with me, okay, and few buses I have given to school and few buses I have given to some company, maybe ITC or ONGC for transportation of their employee. So if I have given buses for transportation of employee to any private company, then that will be taxable. But if I have given my bus to school, then it should remain exempt. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm a private person. I'm giving my buses on a hire to a educational institution for transportation of student, faculty or staff. This is the first exemption. Okay. The second exemption that you need to know, that catering services, including midday meal scheme, sponsored by central government or state government or union territory. You please tell me, before I teach you this point, whether restaurant services, where you eat food, restaurant services is taxable or not taxable, and if it is taxable, at what rate it is taxable? Come on, tell me. Restaurant services. Generally, you go to any restaurant, Pizza Hut or any restaurant nearby your area, Kailash Hotel or this hotel, that hotel. Come on, tell me, taxable or exempt? Restaurant and hotel services are taxable or exempt? I'm only saying taxable. What about others? Please reply taxable or exempt. And if somebody knows the rate, please tell me rate as well. Siddesh, Vijaya. Okay, you guys are saying taxable. Siddesh is saying 5%, Vijay is saying 5%, Ganesh is saying taxable. Okay, we have done section 10. In section 10, we have covered restaurant services, composition scheme for restaurant services, which permits the restaurant to charge 5% overall rate, 2.5% CGST, 2.5% HGST rate. So the total rate comes to 5% exactly. So normally catering services or normally food services are taxable. Please understand. But this is not normal hotel. This is the catering services which is inside the educational institution. Please understand, inside the educational institution, which is exclusively created for providing food to the student. Now, please tell me, do you have government funded canteen in your college? Do you have government funded canteen in your college? College, I'm saying. Government funded means you don't have to pay. You just have to go there, eat the food. That's all. You don't have to pay. You get food at free. Do you have government funded? So where do you see this? No, in your college it won't be there. In CMA Institute, CA Institute, it won't be there. We have to pay for, no, there are canteens in our colleges, but we have to pay and consume the goods. I'm not talking about those canteens. I'm talking about canteen which is providing food for free. Okay, to students. Students are getting it for free. Somebody else is paying. Maybe education institution is paying, maybe government is paying, whoever it is. Okay, you tell me, midday meals and all, where do you get? Have you heard that the students, they get free food? In fact, when I was young, I used to go to this junior KG and senior KG college. not college, the school, just because they used to give us food. Yes, government schools you get, primary school you get, not at college level. So I have one point to link later on about this. Okay, as of now we are saying catering service. I'm a caterer. I provide catering services to different things. I provide catering services at airport. I provide catering services in hotels. I provide catering services in marriage functions. I also provide catering services to school. If I'm providing catering services at any other place other than education institution, it should be taxable. If I'm providing services, catering services to a school which is managed by, the scheme is sponsored by either state government or union territory or central government, then that much fee shall remain exempt. Okay, next. In your college or university, you might have seen security guards. Those security guards are not employee of that college or university or institute. If you see their logo here, you will see some private company's name. So security services or housekeeping services performed in such educational institution shall be exempted. If I'm a security agency, I have security personnel with me, I have 200 people staff, I have given 50 staff to ITC or ONGC company. I have given 60-70 staff to ICICI Bank. I have given 30-40 staff to particular private companies, or you can say private banks or any other organization. Then all of these billings will be taxable. But I have given 20 staff to particular school, okay, particular education institution. That much fee that I'm going to charge from that fee, that school should remain exempt. So security or cleaning or housekeeping services provided performed by such education institution shall be exempted. Next, services relating to admission to or conduct of examination by such institution. I don't know how many of you have given foundation examination, but if you have given foundation examination of our institute, do you pay GST on your fee? Have you seen your fee receipt? If you have ever filed examination form, have you ever paid GST? If anybody has experience, please tell me. While giving examination or while filing examination form, when you pay this 1,200, 1,500 or 2,000 rupees, do you pay GST on that? No, you don't pay. Why? Government have exempted conduct of examination or examination fee here in point number 4. Next, supply of online educational journals and periodicals. Supply of online journals. CN Institute provides student journals every month. Every month they provide, and they charge some fee, 100 rupees, 200 rupees for providing this particular online educational journals. So please understand, if you are publishing any document online for students, then obviously it should remain exempt. It might be available at nominal charges. Now, these are the only 5 items which are exempted. Only 5 items. Apart from this, if you think about any other services, so think about any other services. So I'm a chartered accountant. Tomorrow, if I conduct audit of any private school or government school, and I'm charging 5 lakh rupees for conducting the audit. Okay, audit fee 5 lakh rupees. Is it taxable or exempt? It is taxable or exempt? I'm charging 5 lakh rupees audit fee from a school. So it is taxable. Why? It is not covered in these 5 items. It is not covered in these 5 items. Okay. There is an educational institution, maybe school, okay, which provide education up to 10 standard, and they don't have enough space in their building. So they are hired another building which is next to their building. Okay. And they are paying rent of 10 lakh rupees per month. That means this landlord has given his immobile property on rental basis to school. Whether that rental is taxable or not taxable. Landlord has provided immobile property on rental basis to school. Taxable or exempt? Come on, please tell me. Reply. Landlord has provided this. Taxable. Why? It is not covered here. Whatever. Internet. There is a Hathway internet. Hathway is the internet service provider in many places in Mumbai. Any internet service provider for that, Tata Broadband or Reliance Broadband or Jio Broadband, okay. And this particular education institution has installed this Hathway internet broadband. While charging bill to this education institution, will they add GST? Internet service or telecommunication service provided to education institution, taxable or exempt? Internet service and telecommunication service provided to education institution, taxable or exempt? Yes, taxable. So you need to understand, I can't give you a list of what is taxable because I can't justify to that particular items. No, I don't have the list of taxable items. I have list of exempted items. Only these five. Which five? Okay, let's give them a, let's give this particular entries a highlighted word. First highlighted word should be transportation. Second highlighted word should be catering. Third highlighted word should be security. Fourth highlighted word should be conduct of examination. Okay. And the last should be online generals. Okay. So these are only 5 items which are exempted: transportation, catering, security, conduct of examination, online journals. Transportation, catering, security, conduct of examination, online journals. Only these 5, and that too you have to remember with the name. Okay, with a name. So let's try to give some abbreviation. First is transportation, second is catering, TCS. Okay, then security, TCS, EO. Okay. So TCS, EO, I don't know, whatever you can remember, you need to remember in a chronological order. So point number 1 is transportation. Point number 2 is catering. Point number 3 is security. Point number 4 is examination. Point number 5 is online journals. Okay, you keep it doing for multiple times. There will be time when you will understand this particular whole list. Now let's look at the complicated area. Complicated area is created because of this however. Okay. Now just now you have understood what is exempted. However means exception to exemption. Exception to exemption means it is taxable. Exception to exemption means the activity is going to be taxable. So look at the exception. That means this exemption will not operate in certain situation. We are going to learn those situation as of now. However, nothing contained, nothing means negative. Nothing contained in item number 1, transportation. Item number 2, that means catering. Item number 3, security of item B shall apply to an education institution other than institution providing services of preschool. Okay. However, nothing contained in item number 1, that means transportation. 2, catering. 3, security. Okay. Shall apply to institution other than institution providing services by way of preschool or education up to higher and secondary school. Education up to higher and secondary school. Now how to remember this? What they are trying to say, first three items are applicable only to that school which is providing education up to HSC, preschool and HSC. First 3 items are applicable for only to 1, 2, 3. These 3 items are applicable to preschool plus HSC. Now you tell me, do you need a government to provide food when you are in a degree college? Come on, tell me yes or no. When you are in a degree college, do you think government should provide you food? Is it mandatory? Is it mandatory? Answer is no. Do you need transport facility to be provided by educational institution? Because you can't travel at your own. Is it true? Can you travel at your own when you are in degree college? That means after HSC, when you are in degree college, can you travel at your own? Yes. That means you don't also need transportation, mandatory transportation facility from the institution. Third, security and housekeeping. I hope you have grown up to the level where you know where to shit and where to piss, isn't it? Okay. You know how to use the toilet and bathroom. But what about preschool student? Do you understand preschool student means they are 3-year-old, they are 4-year-old. So they don't know where to do what. So they shit anywhere, they piss anywhere. Okay, sometimes you also behave the same way, but that is the exceptional way. But I'm talking generally. Generally, we don't know. We don't want housekeeping services mandatorily to be provided to us, but it is at school level, it should be there. It has to be there. So how to remember this? First three items are applicable only up to HSC. First three items are applicable only up to HSC. That means transportation, catering, and security service. So what I do, I usually create particular building of a school. This is a building of a school. Okay. Any services provided by, there are 2 points here. Point number A, point number double A. Point number A and point number double A. Any services provided by education institution to student, staff and faculty is exempt, and second was conduct of entrance fee. This was also exempt. Now we are talking about services provided to education institution. This is education institution. Okay, what type of services provided to education institution? Point number one was the transportation. Okay, point number two was catering. Point number three is housekeeping. Now these three activities are exempt only up to preschool and school up to HSC. Do you understand this? If it is a degree college, then it is not exempt. If it is a degree college, then it is not exempt. Hello. If it is a degree college, if it is a CA institute, if it is a CMA institute, these three items are not exempt. That means it is going to be taxable. Tomorrow, if due to COVID-19 situation, CA-CMA Institute come forward to provide transport facility to students from home to examination center to conduct examinations smoothly, that particular transport facility will remain taxable because exemption is given only up to HSC and preschool level. Are you getting this? Hello. Transport, catering and housekeeping services are exempt only to that school or that college which is running preschool or higher and secondary school, HSC plus 12 plus 2. In our Mumbai, it is SYGC, second year junior college. All over India, it is called as plus 2, plus 1, plus 2. Only up to plus 2 it is exempt. That means you are in a degree college or you are running a professional course, then it is not going to be exempt for you. You tell me now, online periodicals. Online periodicals is important at what level? Do you think if you provide online periodicals to preschool level students, will they read it? Hello, preschool student. Do they need online periodicals? Do they need online periodicals? Come on, tell me. I'm only saying no. Balance people, please reply. Preschool student or first standard, second standard, third standard, fourth standard, fifth standard, this student, do they understand how to use online periodicals? If you give laptop to them, they are going to break the laptop, and therefore online periodicals are important after plus 2. Don't you think? Only higher education or degree college or professional students need online periodicals. Therefore, entry number 5, which is talking about online periodicals, is exempt only to degree college or professional institution. Look at the language, look at the paragraph. Further, nothing contained in sub item 5. Sub item 5 means online periodicals. Okay. of item B shall apply to institution providing services by way of preschool or education up to higher and secondary or equivalent school. That means it is not applicable to HSC. Up to HSC it is not applicable. That means it is applicable only to degree college or higher study, but not to children. Okay, and education as a part of approved vocational education course. If you are providing approved educational vocational courses, that IT and all, for them also it is not applicable. It is applicable only for those students who are pursuing higher studies after +2. But you tell me, examination is important at what level? All level or only higher level? Examination, conduct of examination is important at what level? All level or only higher or lower? Only lower, only higher, or all? Conduct of examination is important at what level? All. Therefore, point number 4 is applicable to whole college. Point number 4 is applicable to whole institution. Please understand, whether your institution is preschool or HSC or higher study, point number 4 is applicable to all of them. Point number 4 is applicable to all of them. Okay, that means examination is applicable to all of them. Let's look at how I have presented this in our handwritten notes. In handwritten notes, I have written like this. In education services, we have to discuss two aspects. This is going to be log out in another 2 minutes. Please rejoin at 12. Okay. I'm already telling you because I have only 2 minutes. Whenever it is log out, please rejoin at 12. Services provided by education institution to students, staff, faculty or entrance fee is exempt. Now, services provided to, this is private to institution. Education services by way of is written in reading because this is the exhaustive list. Only these 5 items are exempt. First, transportation of students, staff, faculty, catering services, security or housekeeping services, services related to conduct of examination and online periodicals. Now look at this. This is the school up to HSC, including preschool. Here we are having preschool also. Preschool and HSC. Any services provided, and this is higher study. This is higher education. Okay. Any services provided by whole education institution by is fully exempt. But when we talk about two, when we talk about their input service, two. Okay. First 3 items. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means transport, catering, and security or housekeeping. It is exempt only up to higher and secondary. Online courses or online periodicals is exempt only at higher studies, and conduct of examination is exempt at whole building. That means whether it is junior or senior, whole examination fee shall remain exempt. I'm done with my phase 1 explanation of where I. In next lecture, we are going to discuss analysis part of the same entry. Thank you. You please revise whatever I have said. And please rejoin at 12.